What's up, you guys? Welcome to another action figure collection review, as today we're going to take a look at one of my all-time favorite movie figures, and that's Batman and Robin, released by Kenner in 1997. Now, since winter has started, I figured what better way than to look at a movie that perfectly describes the cold holiday season, as this was a movie that I constantly watched as a kid and loved playing with all the action figures. So without wasting any more time, let's take a look at all these figures up close and see how great they really are. Alright, and up first we're going to be taking a look at George Clooney's Batman, and this is actually a very good looking figure. Now, the only downfall of this entire awesome looking figure is really just the fact that it did not come with a cloth cape, and that's what makes it very disappointing, because it does come with all these other gimmicks and stuff within the actual packaging, but I bought this figure loose without it because that cape just looked like complete garbage. So I wanted to get like a customized version of this particular Batman in the sense of getting a cloth cape, but you can see that there is a hole in the back, which is really unfortunate. But as a whole, in general, it's definitely the definitive Bruce Wayne, aka George Clooney's Batman, because the molding, the sculpting, the design of it just really captures how he was in the first, at least the entire beginning, or just the whole movie in general, before he turns into the chromed out suit. But otherwise, you can even tell by the facial expression that it looks exactly like George Clooney. Kenner did a really great job trying to capture that magic, and I think it just looks absolutely incredible with just that whole mouthpiece right there. I mean, that literally looks like George Clooney's jaw. And one of the things I will say is I love when Batman has more of the long pointier ears. I'm not a fan of the shorter ears, so this really works in my favor of being such a great looking Batman. I love how the costume itself is really just all a matte black finish, which again adds a lot of great aesthetics to it, at least how it was portrayed in the actual movie. The Bat logo with the silver background looks great, and then the whole abs and stuff. No bat nipples, which is great, and then we have the gauntlets with the spikes and stuff. Good muscle definition, and even the Bat logo on the belt. Not bad. And then just the lower half of the figure has nice muscle definition. It kind of has like these little sparkles to the figure in the plastic, but that's really okay. You can't really tell too much on camera, but it does have some really great detail, good sculpting, at least for the 90s. And yeah, again, fantastic looking Batman. It's just very unfortunate that this particular Batman did not come with the cloth cape, otherwise it would have easily been a great 10 out of a 10 figure, but because it does not have the cape, it'll give it like a 9 out of 10. So I'm gonna have to find a substitute for it. Otherwise, it is a freaking awesome figure. I mean, look at that. That really just defines Bruce Wayne and Batman. So that is Bruce Wayne, aka George Clooney's Batman. Alright, and coming up next, we have Dick Grayson, aka Chris O'Donnell's Robin, and this is basically the suit that was technically inspired to be the Nightwing outfit, but they gave him the more of the traditional, I guess, other Robin style costume, but we'll just say it was supposed to be Nightwing anyway. But I love this outfit, even in the movie. It really just gave it some nice coloring, and the fact that Robin did get an upgraded suit within the second movie already, that just showed, like, you know, these movies were actually going somewhere. So the head sculpt does have some similarities to Chris O'Donnell, so that's awesome. And just the mask itself, there are some scratches here and there because I did find this figure loose, so you're going to see some paint nicks here and there, but that's really okay. Otherwise, the hair is fine, the mask is fine, the eyes, the facial expression is pretty decent. The Robin suit looks awesome. Now, this was a great update to how it was in the first Batman Forever movie, so if we had seen this in the Nightwing color scheme of the black and blue, that probably would have been sick, but I'm sure there's customs out there with this design, but it's still great. Otherwise, the Robin logo there that goes from the chest to the shoulders, awesome, great muscle definition. Limited posability because it is Kenner, so can't expect too much. You can see the logo on his belt, the Robin logo, pretty good. And then very minimal sculpting of detail there by the bottoms, but still nice muscle definition. And the boots came out fine, and he does have a plastic cape, which is decent for what it is. Good sculpting, good line work. It is pegged onto the back of the figure. It can slip off sometimes, but you know, it is what it is. Otherwise, it's a decent looking figure. I mean, yeah, how can you not like it? I mean, it's the only definitive Batman and Robin version of Robin, so can't go wrong with it. So great looking figure, you gotta have it in the collection. So that is Robin. All right, and up next we have Batgirl, aka Alicia Silverstone, aka Barbara Gordon, and or should I say, actually, it's not even Barbara Gordon, it's Barbara Penningworth. I don't know, Alfred's niece. Yeah, I mean, interesting concept, but either way, very decent looking figure. I love the fact that Kenner went out of the way to actually give us a Batgirl figure, so that's, amazing. And the fact that this is the masked version with, her hair does not stick out, because we know in the movie she took off the mask, or at least the back piece of the actual cowl, and you can see a lot of her, blonde hair showing through. But the face sculpt, though, is pretty decent. I mean, nothing too crazy there, but they tried their best. It looks pretty good. Love the long, pointy bat ears and the whole matte black finish of the actual bat suits. Looking awesome. I mean, yeah, that's really good. Very limited posability, but they do offer some greatness to it. The silver belt, I mean, that looks awesome. Bat belt, and then some more sparkles on the matte finish. It does have some hints of blues into the blacks, which is so damn great. So that's great attention to detail. And she does have the black cape, which is awesome. Nice little shine there by the reflection. Otherwise, this is a very, very nice looking figure. So even the gauntlets with the spikes, very good. And slight muscle definition there by the abs. And yeah, the contrast of the belt against the blue and blacks, very cool. And I also love how the thighs have like this bat symbols there as well. Otherwise, a good interesting concept to the figure. And like I said before, if they had created another version with her blonde hair, that would have been interesting. But the fact that they didn't do it, I'm okay with it. So very nice. So that is Batgirl. Alright, and up next we're going to be taking a look at my favorite interpretation of these Batman figures, which is the chromed out version of Batman, which we've seen him utilize by the end of the film. Now, this could have easily been a solid 10 out of a 10 figure, because I could disregard the articulation. The mask or the cowl is the only thing that does not contain the silver trims on it. Like, that was the biggest takeaway from, because in the movie he did have, slight silver trims on it, even though it's probably a little bit inaccurate. But if they had put in those silver trims, it would have been fantastic, but they did not do that. So it kind of just gives it a black cowl piece, but it's okay. I mean, it still has that George Clooney head sculpt, which is fine. But the entire figure here that just, blinged out in chrome, that is beautiful. How can you not like this figure? Like, just look at it. It's absolutely beautiful. I just love everything about it, from the bat logo to the, I guess, whatever, all the other silver designs, and then the gauntlets with the spikes as well. All those color schemes. I mean, just basically black and silver, but the fact that the 90s gave us chromed out figures, very good. Now, of course, if they had added articulation by the knees and elbows, hell yeah, it would have been 11 out of 10, but it is what it is. And I'm also very thankful that he does come with his cape, unlike the other version that I showed you earlier on in the video. It's more of a molded plastic, but it's still fine for what it is. So, good stuff. Love it, love it. Beautiful looking figure. I mean, again, just the cowl really needed those silvers. Otherwise, it's beautiful. It's a great looking figure. So that is Batman again in his chromed out version, seen by the end of the movie. Up next, you can't really do the chromed out versions without having Robin as well. So Robin also got that chromed out version, and again, fantastic looking figure. Same head sculpt as we've seen prior, so nothing new there. Otherwise, all the silvers and blacks, man, it just makes the whole figure pop out. And of course, they utilize this by the end of the movie as well. So very, very good looking figure. The silvers, man, oh man, beautiful. Same Robin cape and everything. You can see some smudges there on the torsos and stuff because of the fingerprints, but that's really okay. The gauntlets, fine. All that good stuff. The Robin cape, oh yeah, really, really cool. Good looking figure, and just the overall design of it is superb. I mean, classic Batman and Robin, chromed out version Robin is so beautiful and badass. Love it. And again, minimal articulation, but it's fine for what it is. So it's a really good looking figure. So that is the chromed out version of Robin. Up next, we have another version of Batgirl. Now, this is a surprising addition into my collection just because they did not give Batgirl the chromed out version as she appeared in the ending of the film, but instead, this figure did come with a bat cycle, which I did not get. I bought her loose, but this particular version is as close as it can get to her wearing the additional armor pieces and color schemes. Now I assume that it could have been chromed out. It would have been very ideal to have it chromed out, but since they didn't, it's very unfortunate. But just the overall style and design of it is interesting, and I definitely thought it looked really cool because it contrasts as well against the other figures of Batman and Robin. So having her come with this classic style in terms of movie wise, but without the whole chromed out versions, a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it's fine and still has the standard designs here and there. A little bit more see-through compared to the original first Batgirl that we saw. Otherwise, it looks good. Yeah, love the design, love the color schemes of contrastings of purples and silvers and blacks. The head sculpt looks really great, and the really big highlight for this entire figure is really the cloth cape that they gave her. What I'm thinking of doing is probably going to buy another version of this figure and then use this cape to put on the Batman that we saw right in the beginning of the film. Even though this does come with a visor, if this head sculpt had like her blonde hair showing, it would have been a little bit more ideal. But again, she did take it off very early in the film, or early in that scene when she was riding the bike before they went to go fight Mr. Freeze. So that is the non-chromed out version of Batgirl, but we can assume that it pretty much is. Alright, and up next we have Poison Ivy, aka Uma Thurman, and this is very, very nice figure. Uma Thurman, or should I say Poison Ivy, wore multiple outfits throughout the film, so they kind of gave her this more classier green outfit, which is fine. It still looks good. It's very minimal in detail, but still offers quite a bit of, texturing and good sculpting there by the legs and stuff, and including the chest. So yeah, it's pretty nice. The head sculpt does not really resemble her one bit, but at least they gave her the red hair, which is fine. She does come with all these vines and stuff as an accessories, but I did not include it in this video. I just wanted to strictly focus on the figures, but it's okay. Could have been a lot better. Unfortunately, it's not, so it is what it is, but the black boots are fine. You got the heels, very nice. Same more sculpting there. Again, you can see a lot more of the leaves and the Poison Ivy designs going throughout her body. Very cool, and yeah, it's decent. Could have been better, and I wish they kind of had like the different sculpting of her head, or should I say different sculpting of her hair, as she did wear different hairstyles in the film, as well as different color schemes with the white outfit as well when she fought Batgirl. But that's really okay. And I will say that I do like how she has green eyes too, so nice little attention to detail. So that is Poison Ivy. Up next we have Bane, and this is another figure that I'm surprised that Kenner had actually made. Now, I believe this kind of represents more of a comic book version of Bane, as it's not necessarily movie accurate Bane, but I guess they tried whatever they can do. The head sculpt is fine. It's a beefy looking figure. It looks, it just feels good in hand in the sense of it's muscular, it's a big brute of a figure, but I still would have preferred an actual movie accurate version of Bane, but this is literally all that we got, and it's, I guess, the best that they could do. So, I don't know, very odd choice. He does have, again, more of, I believe, a comic style vest, with the black belt and an all straightforward black boots and in pants. No articulation, unfortunately. You can move the legs up and down, but I love how the boots look nice and hefty, so that's good. And then the arms, very muscular with the veins, and then it's got the gloves and stuff, so that's good. He does come with the hose that's attached to the back of the headpiece that we've seen in the movie, that Robin and Batgirl kicked off before he turned super skinny, or it's allowing him to use the toxins to get into his veins. But it does kind of clip right onto the forearm right there, but I just leave it hanging just because, it is what it is, small gimmick. But even if you take it off, there's basically just a nasty hole in the back of the head, so I felt very incomplete and I had to get it with the hole. It's not too much of a deal breaker, to be honest. If you just, not really utilize it, but otherwise the head sculpt is fine. Again, still would have preferred a more movie accurate Bane, but it's okay. It's fine for what it is. Decent looking figure. That's probably the only setback of it. Otherwise, it's good to have in the collection. So that is Bane. So up next we have Mr. Freeze, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, and holy moly, this is a great looking figure. Now there is another version that's coming up right after this, but this one comes without his freeze gun, and this is the non-chromed out version, so there's two versions of this figure. But the design of it looks pretty good. I mean, it tries to capture the Arnold Schwarzenegger head sculpt. Very nice. The facial expressions are pretty decent. Look at all that texturing and sculpting there by the helmets and stuff. And this is probably my favorite Mr. Freeze outfit anywhere. I mean, he just looks so badass in the movie. It's definitely the best that they could do, and I absolutely love it. And just even the design of this entire outfit, though. I mean, look at the sculpting by the lines and then the torso piece and then just the arms, the light blues that shines throughout. I mean, great line work, very cool looking vertical lines. Love it. The blues really do pop out on the silvers, and at least it's not like gray. It's actually surprisingly silver, and I'm not sure if the camera even captures it, but they did a really great job with that. Otherwise, everything is pretty standard and straightforward. The back there, holy crap, very, very cool. Yeah, I love that. That looks sick. But the big highlight here is the chromed out version, which we'll take a look at next. But otherwise, that is the non-chromed out version of Mr. Freeze. Alright, so the real highlight for this entire video is really just this Mr. Freeze, which is in the chromed out version from A Cold Night in Gotham City. Now, I've been waiting a long time to get this particular figure, and with winter here, I figured let's go ahead and unbox this particular figure because I could really care less about this particular Batman, but this Mr. Freeze is really where it's all at. Now, before we actually get to this Mr. Freeze, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging real quickly, just because this is where the 90s hits you the most in terms of nostalgia, because I remember going to KB Toys and seeing all these figures and seeing the packaging and just seeing the Batman and Robin logo there. It just looks, man, it just brings me back to a very nostalgic time. So here we have both of the figures, so that looks great, which we'll take a look at shortly. And then we have the Batman and Robin logo there on top, and you got the warning sign on the bottom, nothing there. But in the back, this is where it gets completely and utterly just mind-blowing of excitement, just because there's so many vehicles and figures from back in the day that, you know, just completely excites you. Because look, we got vehicles, we got the Ice Terror Mr. Freeze as well, some other variants of figures, the essential Batmobiles and the Ice Glow Bat Hammer from the movies, and then we got some other aerial combat Batman and Defender Robin, and just so many other variants of these different figures. And probably can't see on screen, but you can see some other colored Batmans and just, you know, other colored Robins as well. So this is where the nostalgia hits, and of course it has the Kenner proof of purchase. Just remember going back in the days of KB Toys and seeing these packaging and, you know, opening it up and then looking at the back of it and saying, man, I want this figure next, or I want these vehicles next. And then, man, that was just such a thrill of finding them. So let's go ahead and open this and take a look at the Mr. Freeze figure only, because like I said, I don't care about this Batman. So here we go. And just a quick little tease, I will be looking at this Batman alongside other various Batmans in a future upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Alright, and here we have Mr. Freeze out of package, and like I said before, this is the main reason why I got this figure, is because it is completely chromed out compared to the other version, and this is what made the 90s spectacular, in the sense of they were not afraid of using chrome to make figures look just, you know, beautiful. Because if you remember from the Batman and Robin movie, Mr. Freeze looked absolutely awesome with that armor, and this figure really captures that Arnold Schwarzenegger, that new armor that they created for the movie. Now, granted that because it is chrome and due to the type of plastic, there will be a lot of smudging on the actual armor pieces, and I have seen that if you're not careful with this particular figure, it will be scratched and it could yellow. So that's one of my biggest fears, but it is an old toy. So looking at the actual head sculpt, it roughly does look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we've seen this before in the other previous Mr. Freeze figure, so there's really nothing too new here, but it's really just the sculpting of the actual figure and the chrome that really brings out the blues and contrast as well against everything else. And plus, you can see his ice gun there, which is a weapon that I didn't have previously for the other Mr. Freeze figure, but otherwise all of this really looking shiny chrome just gives you that whole wintry vibe, and this is what makes the Batman and Robin figures just so damn cool. And man, I'm so excited for this. Otherwise, let's take a quick look at the comparison of both Mr. Freezes right here. So here we have the original version that I had prior, and then we have the chromed out version, so you can pretty much get the idea of basically the same exact figure, just one is chromed and one is not. So which one is a more definitive version? For me, obviously it's the chrome one, but the more you look at both of these, you kind of realize they're both good in their own way. So I don't know, you just have to put these inside different lighting and see which one is more preferred, but otherwise I think they're both great in their own way. And I've waited so long to get this figure, and I'm finally happy to actually get it. So that is so, man, I can't stop drooling over it. And you can just see how it just shines. You can see the reflections and just the sculpting that really pops out on these figures. And yeah, that's so damn cool. So yeah, that is Mr. Freeze. Alright, so here we have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. So these are the more standard versions of the figures that we've seen throughout most of the entire film. So again, as a whole, they look fantastic. Again, this is a very awesome George Clooney Batman, except he just does not come with a cape. So it's, like I said, he does come with a plastic cape, and it's like more of the gimmicky style, but I wanted a cloth version. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to rebuy this Batgirl at some point, use that cape and put it on this Batman, and hopefully it should be just as great. I mean, that's probably the best I can do at the moment. Otherwise, this Nightwing version of Robin, freaking awesome, and it's as good as it gets. Otherwise, these are the only 3 classic versions of these characters within as most movie accurate as we can get in the 90s Kenner line. Otherwise, there's other variants out there, but this is as true to the movie as we can hopefully find, at least within that time frame. So very awesome to have all 3 of these in the collection, and they just look fantastic. So I love all 3 of these. Alright, and now we have the chromed out versions of Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, as we've seen by the end of the film, where they're going to go stop Mr. Freeze from the giant freeze gun. But yeah, I mean, just these two came in a 2-pack, so if they had done a 3-pack with Batgirl with the same exact style and design, I think that would have been absolutely incredible. But a very huge missed opportunity in my opinion, but at least they gave us something remotely close to how we can depict Batgirl in that scene. But again, the highlights here is really just having these 2 figures, Batman and Robin, being in that super duper decked out chromed versions. And yeah, I mean, I love it. It's great. And this Batgirl is a very nice looking figure too. It's just, it sucks that she's kind of sticks out like a sore thumb compared to these 2, but hey, I mean, it's the best we can do, and for this time frame, it is what it is. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, they just look great. Alright, and here I just wanted to quickly showcase the ending scene of Batman and Robin, where all 3 of them are fighting Mr. Freeze, and basically this is the chromed out version of Batman and Robin, which we saw previously, and then we have the non-chromed out version of Batgirl, which should have been chromed, but unfortunately this is the best that we got. So seeing how all these figures are in that chrome aesthetic, that just really adds a lot of great detail and aesthetics to the line of Batman and Robin. So if I had all of these back when I was a child, then man, I would have played the shit out of them, and they would have all been scratched up. But being an adult collector, at least you can put these all in better, condition. And here's a brief look at all 3 or 6 Batman and Robin figures as what I call the definitive version of Batman with Robin, and then the classic Batgirl from the movies, and then we have the chromed out version and then the non-chromed out version Batgirl. So you can see all the different mixing and matching you can do with these figures, but just the overall concept of having 3 different versions from 2 different parts of the movie really adds a lot of incentive into collecting both of these styles of figures. Alright, and there you have my Batman and Robin collection from Kenner from the 90s, and do keep in mind that there are other variants out there. There's tons of other figures to collect within this line, but these are my definitive versions of the Batman and Robin figures. And There are other variants of even like say Poison Ivy, which I do not have in this particular video, but sometimes you just have to roll with what you have. And if you're a completionist and want to get every single variant within the line, then it might drive you to insanity. But if you're someone like me that tries to be as selective with, sometimes getting a few variants here and there just to really find that definitive version, then hell yeah, I say it's okay. But not having every single figure really, keeps you grounded. But if I had all of these when I was a kid, I would have been playing with them while watching the VHS tape in the background. But here we are, so many years later, finally getting the holy grails of my Batman and Robin collection. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Stay tuned for an upcoming and updated version of these Batman figures, as I will do an epic Batman video as well as going over other Kenner Batman figures in the future. And we will also be looking at other variants as well that I have in my collection that I did not do in these particular videos. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe and enjoy the winter holidays because it's going to be a really cold one. So everybody just chill.